So hello everyone to whenever you are watching this. My name is Emerae Hoylman. I am the owner of Project Database, and we are here with MVD because I decided to dedicate my life to getting interviews and emailing people nonstop. So, hello MVD, how are you?
Hello, I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
I am drinking coffee. We chill.
I'm drinking water.
You should try Monster. It helps wake you up.
I'm wide awake. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. So, just gonna go over kind of how these work. So, if you haven't watched eSams already, I'll put the link in the description for this video for eSams interview down below. And so, just to kind of explain the format, we have 3 different types of questions. We have questions about Snake and Snake's gameplay, improvement gameplay, just like how to improve yourself in gameplay or in strategies, mindset, the whole dealio. And then we have some personal questions, just because I've had all of these are user submitted, and they wanted to get to know you as a human being, because
Imagine that. Imagine caring about the man behind the controller.
Surprisingly, most of the questions that we got, because all of these are user submitted, almost all of the questions that we got for you were most of them were all personal.
Fair enough.
I mean, I guess you're just that chill of a dude.
I like personal questions. I'm an open book. It's fine with me.
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So, we're gonna go on and get started with some of these Snake questions. Answer them in the best possible way, and yeah, coolio. So, just out of curiosity, you've been playing competitive Smash for quite a while now. How do you stay consistent in between those Smash games? Or in between those games in particular?
It's really just like dedication. Like, I want to do it, so I do it. It's one of those things that, Smash was never a big thing, like, career-wise or anything. It was just a hobby that we had fun with, And then one day it decided to take over our lives in a good way and be like something that we can sustain our lives with, which is pretty crazy. So it's just like, it's one of those things that, I always consider Smash like my job, but it's also like the most fun thing. So it's one of those things that it's a matter of like, I have to stay up there and have to be the best that I can be at all times. But it's really just fun. If I didn't enjoy the game as much, or the games over the years as much, I would have done it. So it's just dedication to the craft and just loving what I do.
All right. So, just an FYI, all of these questions were based off the fact that you only play Snake. We didn't really have anything about secondaries. So go on and bear with us for that. So why do you only play Snake? And did that change when you switched over to online, just due to the pandemic and other things?
I mean, I've always been like a play like main one character for tournaments kind of person, and also have the ability to play a lot of other characters. That's how I learned how to deal with other characters, by just playing them and learning them on that kind of level. So if I know what to do with them, I know what can counter them, and it just helps me with my Snake gameplay. But I don't know. I've just always enjoyed playing one character and knowing that I can do it with one character, whether it be Snake in Brawl, or Diddy in Smash 4, Snake again in Ultimate. Yeah, I don't know. It's just that's just how I am. I wanna be the best with my character. I want to do the best that I can do with my character, and not have to jump around to other characters. But I'm not opposed to playing them. I just am pretty stubborn when it comes to, I can beat this person with Snake, and I have to switch. Like, I know I can beat this person, and then I lose, and I go, I'll just learn better and do it with Snake next time. It's fine. Like, that's just me.
All right. So if I remember correctly, there aren't any other Snakes on the PGR currently, or at least the PGR from 2019.
The last PGR version 2, Salem was on it, and he co-main Snake. I don't think there was any solo main Snakes on it.
Yeah. So, why do you think other solo Snakes haven't reached your level of your level of play? Well, I mean, besides Ally, but he's no longer on the PGR.
I mean, yeah, neither am I. Season 2 PGR did really poorly. I had a really rough season, and I didn't get top 50. But I don't know. There's a lot of talented Snake players out there. Like there's a bunch, like 2 or 3 in Japan that are top Snake players. There's a bunch of really good Snake players stateside. Mr. R in Europe also plays Snake. So there's a lot of talented Snake players out there. I just feel like, I don't know, Season 2 PGR just seems so strange. Like a lot of people that you would expect to be on it, myself included, were not on it. Ultimate is just hard. So it's not even at the fact that other Snake players just haven't reached that level. It's just the competition is so steep everywhere you go for this game that it's just really hard for anyone to make it up. And if you're up there, you deserve it.
All right. So, you've been playing Snake for a while. So where do you think his strongest and weakest areas are as a character?
I think his strongest areas are like, ledge trapping, his neutral in general, overall ability to switch between an offensive and a defensive style, like on a whim. I think that Snake is the character that, I think his biggest weakness is a lot of characters might have like physical limitations, like, oh, well, they can only do so much about so many things, but I feel Snake is like the most mentally deep character, that the biggest thing that can hold him back is the player themselves. The ability to just think of new ways to get around things, discover new things because of Grenade being so good, or things like that. There's like the ceiling, it seems to be extremely high for that character. Worst thing about him, definitely his ability to land, and his disadvantage isn't the best. And he has a bunch of moves. Well, all of his moves are pretty unsafe on shield, so he doesn't have like a move that you can just throw out if you're scared, and it's okay to throw out. Like, most of the time, if you're throwing something out, it has to be slightly more calculated than most characters in Ultimate, because his moves are extremely punishable for the most part. You just have to be careful with those two major things: recovering, and you can't just throw out a back air and expect to be safe.
That's not how that works.
No, not for him at least.
Yeah, well, here comes the fun part. We all love Nintendo's shitty netcode. We all love how nice it is. So how has Nintendo Online, or switching over to online, affected Snake, like, as a character, like through Elite Smash and arenas?
I think because a lot of people think that he's better on net play, and I can't see that at all. Like, for me personally, I'm a very reactionary style kind of player. So, online, there's more delay than normal. And obviously that can always vary between opponent connection and land and not land and all that stuff. So a lot of the things that I can normally react to offline, I'm just like blind online. I'm just like, well, I can't react to that, so I have to guess. And when you have to switch from reacting to, let's say, a 90% success ratio, I'm not going to say 100, people are going to call me egotistical individual. But if I can react to something 9 out of 10 times offline, online, it's like maybe 3 out of 10 or 4 out of 10. And then more guessing has to be involved. So I think for me, at the very least, the way I like to play the game and the way I see the game is just very changed online, just because of the extra delay. That's not to say that I hate it. It makes me have to play a little different. It makes me have to think a little different. So I definitely use those negatives to apply it to a positive offline. At least that's what I try to do, so I don't just go crazy with online and hate it like a lot of people do. But I think a couple of Snake's tools get significantly weaker online, but also he gets some solid buffs online as well, just as every character does. So I don't know. I think it's fine. Not the best, but you gotta deal with it for however long we're gonna be dealing with it for.
It could be much worse. Sam was complaining about how Pikachu, or at least his style of Pikachu, kind of got screwed because of
Oh
one.
yeah, it was a super combo heavy game, and he's because like we're similar in the sense of like we both react to a lot of things, but he has to react to things more often than I do because his character does like longer extended combos, while my character's like, okay, I hit you with two things, I have to react to the situation. It's very different. But yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is that Nikita, my Nikita missile gets significantly harder to use online because it just has to do with reacting, and it's impossible to react to those situations sometimes. So that's annoying. But I like to not complain too much.
So what would you say some of your best setups are in more common situations or more common interactions that you have with characters?
That's difficult because there's so many. Like, there's just so many layers of gameplay. I think my personal favorite thing to do is tricking people with C4. A lot of people like grenades for Snake or hate them, depending on which side of them you're on. I'm a big fan of C4, and I think that that's one of the harder moves to use because a lot of people, like, the move is gigantic, does a lot of damage, gets stocks really early, but a lot of people don't understand like the mental conditioning that you have to put your opponent through for them to be able to get hit by that move. So I think anything involving a C4, those feel really good for me. Some grenade setups as well, but grenade setups are just more common, and it's easier to influence the grenades to do what you want in those situations as opposed to a C4 that has 25, 26 frames of startup. Decent amount.
All right. So, go ahead and forgive me. This is going to be a little bit of a long question. So do you have any tips for staying in neutral? And does camping? We all know camping. I'm sorry, you play Snake traditionally a campy character. Does camping have a place in Snake's neutral play, and how would you optimize patience play for Snake?
That's a really good question, but at the same time, really hard to answer because, like, with Snake, neutral is so nuanced and so specifically individual for every scenario that just by the nature of Snake having the ability to be a campy character and having frame one grenades and a lot of grenade movement options, the ability to have two grenades out at once with a C4 and constantly be reversing or wave bouncing or whatever you're doing. It's really difficult to just be like, hey, what are some tips for neutral? Because like you really just have to, like, my philosophy on Snake is you have to understand grenade more than anything. I think it's the most important thing that he has. And a lot of people kind of like don't like to be in that umbrella term of camping or being a camper for whatever reason. Literally everybody camps. Literally everybody. I don't know why people hate it. But I don't know. That's tough. It's really just understanding the nuanced situations that grenade allows you to have, because no other character has a neutral like Snake. So it's not like Snake neutral can apply to everyone else, because that's normally how the trend is in Smash. Like, okay, well, if you know how to play neutral with this character, that can translate or like seep into this character. Snake is very much like, he's not very fast. He doesn't have very good jumps. He's a tall dude. Big hurt box, big hit boxes. Like, it's really just a matter of understanding all the options that you have. It's not necessarily always about focusing on your opponent with Snake specifically. It's more just about memorizing every time a grenade's gonna blow up, 2.5 seconds per grenade. So cooking a grenade versus just throwing a grenade, or instant Z catching a grenade versus just doing grenade shield. So many little things that can come from that move. And I guess if I had to say, the best advice I can give someone is to literally just go into training mode, practice via versus, and just try to understand how to use grenade to the best of your ability. It's literally just the most complex and necessary thing for a Snake player. And it just takes time. If you can think it, you can do it. That's what I like to say about Snake. Snake is just that character that if you have a thought in mind or a setup, you can probably make it work. Odds are.
I was gonna say, especially if you use Grenade. If I remember correctly, Grenade is a frame comes out frame 1, right?
Yes, frame 1. He needs it. He needs it.
All right, so this is a question more so about the game in general. And this is the only one of its kind. This one wasn't on the sheet, but it's a little bit long. So do you believe that the Smash Bros. Learning curve has become as complicated as in people trying to get in, to like MOBAs like Dota or big FPS shooters like Counter-Strike? And do you think that will discourage new players from joining, or do you think it'll be the opposite effect? To entice new players to be like the best that no one ever was?
I think on a surface level, Smash is a much more user-friendly game than most games. Mostly because character familiarity, everyone knows somebody that's in Smash, and everyone, has a character they want to play in Smash, and odds are that character's already here. So I don't think. I think on paper the game seems like it's easy to play, and easy to get into and easy to learn about. But the game is much deeper than a lot of people like to admit. I think at a very basic level, you get it. It's it's sumo wrestling, it's a sandbox fighter, and you hit your opponent off the stage. Haha, it's fun, But to take it to another level, there's so many resources out there. We have Ultimate Frame Data that literally displays all the information you will ever need about a character. For the frame data wise, obviously, how their moves work, hitboxes and hurtboxes, activity, plus minus, all of that stuff is there. There's so many content creators on YouTube, Esam, Larry, DeBuzz, Tweak, that just constantly push out Smash content, and it's like character content, and just there's so many learning tools available for anyone, no matter who they are, no matter who they play. So I don't think that it's extremely difficult to get into Smash at a basic level. But obviously, as with anything in life, if you want to be really good at it, you gotta put in the time. So I don't think it's necessarily like a Smash learning curve thing. I think it really just depends on the person, if they're willing to put in that work, willing to study videos and take notes and really learn everything they can about the game's mechanics and the character they play. The hardest part about it, honestly, is learning how to fight 80 different characters. Too many matchups, and I love the roster. I think it's great, but from a competitive standpoint, I think that's one of the hardest things. Having to deal with 80 characters, because every character has something and has some relative goodness about them, and that's the hardest part, honestly.
Yeah. So just because I do have to do this once per interview, I would like to explain about Project Database for anybody who wants to either get involved or learn. So Project Database is solely a Super Smash Bros. Ultimate database for resources for anyone who wants to learn about different characters. It's basically a compilation. We have actually partnered with a member of the Orion rank staff, and he will be posting a universal matchup chart for every character to try and to make more accurate matchup charts. And for anybody who wants to learn, that'll be in the link below. So yeah, moving on. So we're on to some of our improvement questions. So how would you effectively analyze VODs or replays?
Ooh, I am huge on analyzing things. VOD review is something that I think very highly of, and I really think that a lot of people need to start utilizing that. For me, I kind of just, if you're studying your own VODs, I know a lot of people don't like to do this, but you have to watch the ones that you lose. You can't just watch all the ones that you win and pretend that you're studying. You have to, because like the biggest thing that people don't want to hear is that losing is the better teacher. So you have to lose, you have to understand why you lost. You have to sit down and try to put yourself back in the moment of the set and be like, okay, why did I choose that option when I could have obviously done these other 3 or 4 things? I think it's really important to just sit down and try to, even if you're not studying your own VODs, if you're studying other VODs, to try to put yourself in the perspective of the players you're watching, and try to understand the mental thought process of why they did what they did in those certain situations, and pay attention to how people condition other people to do certain things. You know, you let like player 1 let player 2 get away with hitting their shield with down tilt 1 too many times, but player 1 knows that it's not safe, but he's not punishing it yet because he's waiting for his right time. It's just a lot of analysis and just trying to get into the minds of who you're watching. And I think that goes a very long way, and it's a super underrated skill that people don't use enough.
All right, so, and again, this is sponsored, so I do have to do this. So Scrub City is the server sponsoring this. We have VOD review coaches who are willing to help you analyze these replays if you're interested in doing that. And if you're interested in doing that, the link to their server will be in the description below.
Cool.
Yeah, and I got that all set up, and I love it. We have people using it. We have people getting coaches from high-level players. It's fantastic. All right. So, I don't know if you've played any other fighting games. So if you haven't, then you don't have to answer all of this question. Can you give some examples of the best and worst aspects of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate as both a fighting game and as a Smash game?
Okay. Yeah, I played Marvel 3 for a bit. Game was very fun. I liked it a lot. But I don't know, as a Smash game, you said the best and worst parts of it?
Best and worst aspects.
So I guess you're asking like from a design standpoint, like a mechanics and stuff like that.
Not just that, but in general, gameplay, communities, because the fighting game community, like Street Fighter, because I'm a part of the Street Fighter Mortal Kombat community, they're very active and special, to say the least. Compared to the Smash community, which is while the fighting game communities are global, Smash has hit a point in community-wise where it's huge.
Right.
So I guess all aspects of it, like of Ultimate in general.
I mean, I love the Smash scene. I grew up with the Smash scene basically, which is crazy to say, since I started playing in 2009. So I was 16, turning 17, and now I'm 28. So long time. I don't know. I think as a game, Ultimate is really, really good. It might not be people's favorite Smash game of all time, and that's fine. Not everyone has to like the same thing. Personally, for me, I think as a competitive Smash game, it definitely brings the most to the table in terms of having unique matchups. Obviously, so many characters, but that's fine. It's like a plus minus. I love that there's a lot of characters, but as a competitor, man, it's annoying because I gotta pay attention to the Wii Fit trainer, and I don't want to, but I have to. But I don't know. I really enjoy the game. I like the changes they made across game titles since I grew up playing all the Smash games. So I think from a competitive standpoint and just like gameplay, I think it's one of the better Smash games out there in terms of gameplay. A lot of people like Melee because it's really fast paced. And Ultimate is not as fast paced as Melee, but it still has its moments that you can sit down and appreciate the gameplay. Whether it be super turbo high aggression gameplay or even someone camping, and a lot of people don't like that, but some people do, like me. So get over it. I think a big thing, like the community, like you were saying, the community is gigantic. The community is so big, and that in itself can be a positive and a negative thing. Obviously, the more people you have gathered together, the higher probability of some of them being not an optimal individual you'd want to associate yourself with. But that just is the way of the world. 8 billion, 9 billion people on planet Earth, and there's a lot of bad ones out there. You put enough people in a community, there's gonna be some bad people in there. But I think for me, I've had almost exclusively positive interactions and positive things come from the Smash community and from Smash as a whole, whether it be from the Brawl scene, the Smash 4 scene, or the Ultimate scene. I think there's a couple gameplay things that I don't like the way that clanking interactions happen, like with Snake's dash attack, for example, versus Pikachu Thunder Jolt. If I dash attack a Thunder Jolt, I'm in a lot of lag. And those are some situations like that occur that I'm just like, I don't like that. That's not for me. But you have to just deal with it. There's a lot more that I love about Ultimate that I dislike. I think that anyone that would ever want to join it should definitely give it a chance. I know that a lot of interesting things happened over the past year with the Smash scene, but I still think that it's a good place to be a part of, and I'm happy to be here. And I love the game.
We have jewels like you, Esam, MK Leo, who dresses up in a hot dog costume for tournaments, and Stroder, who shows up in a frog costume. So,
he does do that.
We have good people like that. So, you play Snake. How many times? Be honest with me. How many times have you been called a degenerate for the way that you play Snake?
I actually don't think anyone calls me a degenerate. I think I'm a little too calculated of a player to be called a degen. I think, people call me, camper and sometimes a masher, which is hilarious to me.
I don't think you can even mash with Snake. The only thing that you can mash is like a grenade.
People swear I mash grenades, and I don't. I buffer them. It's crazy. An in-game mechanic that allows me to not mash. I use it, but I think it's really just like people call me a camper or a zoner or lame. It's like, okay, whatever. Degenerate, very rare. That's not a word people use to describe me. Which is strange because I feel like everyone calls everyone degenerate.
You look at pretty much any character. There's always something to hate. I think the only character I've totally seen people being called degenerate, I would say either Sonic or like Ness or Lucas.
Yeah, like you said, every character has some aspect of them to hate. Those three characters have more than one, but it's fine.
Yeah. So you've been playing for a while. You've seen so many different play styles with so many different characters. You have to learn 80 different matchups as a competitive player. What do you think makes a play style degenerate? And I've watched quite a few high level or S tier tournament matches. But do you think top level players can have degenerate playstyles in order to keep their position either on the PGR, PR, or to keep a high level position in general?
Oh yeah, for sure. The thing is, a lot of people use the word degenerate in like a negative connotation. The same way with like people call people campers to try to like undermine their gameplay, or mashers to try to undermine their gameplay. There's a time and place for everything. There's a time and place to be a degen, and if it works, it works. I think Esam is a super degenerate player. I really do. Like, I think that he understands that his character. Obviously, we all know that he understands his character is crazy, broken, really good at his character, and it's like he understands it so well, and it shows in his gameplay. And I think one can call that degenerate. I like to call it confident. You can see players like I said, Esam or Light. MK Leo sometimes has that little swagger to him that he's like, yeah, I know I'm better than you, and I know I'm gonna win, so I'm just gonna do this degen option, and it's gonna work because I'm so smart that you're going to think that I'm so smart that I wouldn't do this, but then I did. And then you look at him and he just goes, the Leo shrug that he always gives you. like there's so many instances where a top player just that degenerate gene just comes out and you do something wild and it's like, why did you do that? It's like, I just did.
You know, I had Esam tell me that being a degenerate is objective, so because it's objective, it doesn't really exist.
That's fair. That's kind of how, like, that's kind of on the lines of what I was saying. Like, for me, it's mostly just the connotation that people try to use. Everyone like sees the word degen and thinks bad. Because the internet has made us think that. Like, same thing with, like I said, camper or masher or whatever, like, or lame even. It's like, no. All these things can be good. There are levels, but that's based on the person. Most people are going to just call whatever beats them lame, degenerate, and stupid. So,
Johns.
Do you really believe those people? I don't think so. Yeah. People like that, you shouldn't listen to them. It doesn't matter.
All right. So with the pandemic, there have been a lot of things going on. There have been, oh my god, I'm going to quit Twitter. Oh my god, I'm going to quit Smash because online is horrible. What keeps you motivated to play Smash in this, what is the word I'm looking for? What keeps you motivated to play Smash in the world that we live in right now?
I'm bored as hell otherwise. Honestly, like, Smash is just fun. I just enjoy playing the game. Even if it's in the suboptimal setting of net play, I still enjoy playing the game because it still teaches you things. It can still sharpen your offline game. I myself play offline pretty regularly with a few of my friends out here in Vegas that we all, are very safe and, mask up all the time, work from home, that kind of stuff. So I still have the luxury of being able to play offline, even if it's just like once a week. So I have the happy balance of like all week I play net play and would potentially drive myself insane. But I know that Saturday night I'm gonna be able to play offline. So it makes the week of net play worth it. And it really just like, okay, I can use my net play time to experiment with things that I want to try to do or improve and then take it to offline and see if it works. If it works on net play, it doesn't mean it works on offline, but there's a chance that it does. So I don't know. I really enjoy playing the game. It keeps me entertained. I stream a lot, so it keeps others entertained. It's just, like I said, Smash, it is my job to play the game. And even though we have net play and it's the pandemic and there's no events and I miss it all so much, the game still doesn't get boring for me. I could play, like I said, I was up till 3:30 in the morning playing last night. I could play forever. The Smash Fest that we go to, it's normally on average between 7 to 10 hours. Like, we're just playing all day or all night. So I don't think I need any extra motivation because it's just there. I started competing in online events recently because I didn't do like any last year. And the competitive fire is just still there, I lose to someone and I'm just gonna sit in my stream chair and be anger and simmer on the inside and it, knowing that those emotions are still there even after almost a year of not having offline, that's all the motivation that I need. It's just like, okay, it's fine. We still have work to do. My season 2, like I said, was not that great. My season 3 started off really well, then Corona happened. So now I'm just like, I just want to get back to where I know I am as a player in the scene. And honestly, that's all the motivation I need. It's just, the game's too fun.
All right, and we would like to say, do not go to offline events right now. We are in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah, don't be stupid.
See what he said. Don't be that guy. All right, so how do you deal with tilt during a set?
I breathe. I know that's the most basic answer, but if you ever watch a set of me and something happens that obviously will tilt someone, I'm just, it's fine. It's okay. I also talk to myself a lot when I play. People might think I'm insane, but I really just either whisper to myself or like a low tone, like, okay, you got this, don't worry about it, it's fine, it's not a big deal. Definitely talk to myself a lot and breathe a lot. I hope everyone breathes a lot, but you know, it's the specific type of breathing.
Breathe and hydrate. Breathe and
Exactly.
hydrate.
That's me all the time, but it's like, if something pisses me off, I just try my best to get over it as fast as possible. But I've been doing this for almost 11, 12 years at this point, so it's not the hardest thing for me to do at this point, but sometimes, you know, sometimes the heat of the moment can get to you. But for me, it's just take a breath and talk to yourself. Literally talk to yourself out loud, not too loud, as you play. That's what I do.
Yeah. If it makes you feel any better, talking to yourself is sometimes considered a level of genius.
I know I'm a genius, don't worry.
You
I play Snake, I have massive brain.
All right. So, hear me out here. A little bit of a long question. About how long per day do you play to practice? What exactly do you do to practice? And does it change if you have a tournament later that day, later the next day, or later that week?
So on average, so there's like pandemic timeline, I guess you could say. I stream at least 6 hours a day. I try to do between 6 and 8 hours, sometimes a little more. So when I'm playing with my viewers and stuff, it's minimum 6, 7, 8 hours. And then sometimes I play off stream with other like subs of mine or friends of mine. Obviously, I said to have the Smash Fest on Saturdays, and we do that for, you know, between 6 to 10 hours. So I play a lot. Even in non-pandemic time, the past 2 years I was living with ESAM, so we played all the time. We would just sit down and play for 10 hours after like doing stuff for the day, and it's like, okay, do it again tomorrow. So I play the game a lot. Obviously, it's different for everyone. Burnout does happen; it does exist. And I guess for me with online tournaments, I like to not play too much before my tournament. Might play enough to warm up and then stay warm throughout if I'm waiting for, you know, an hour or two. Offline events, when they were a thing, I'm not really big on warming up, generally speaking, unless it's like a top 8 day specifically, and that's it. But I could play, it varies for me. Like I can play anywhere from, you know, 3 hours to practice stuff to 12 or 13. It honestly just depends on the day for me. But people gotta keep in mind that overplaying is a thing and it can hurt. So they shouldn't overplay. You know your limits. If you're getting too frustrated at the game, walk away, do something else. Go take a shower, just to cool off. Something besides just repeatedly making yourself upset. I play a lot. Definitely play a lot.
Just out of curiosity, how many hours do you have on this game? I should have asked ESAM that, honestly.
So I can look at that right now, but I will guarantee you that my number's not accurate because when I lived in Oklahoma with ESAM, a lot of the time we played off of his Switch. When we had Smash Fest, my Switch wasn't always used, so my numbers are going to be definitely incorrect, but still a lot. So my ultimate says 2,690 hours. And I know it's a lot more than that.
Funny number.
Yeah, right? That is actually a lot more than I thought it would be. But...
Well, what do you think the correct number is?
Probably double that. Probably like 5,000 hours. Play a lot.
Just out of curiosity, I know that you were sponsored by Panda Global at some point. Did they ever like keep track of your game hours, or were you like required to, you know, like have a certain number of hours that you practiced or anything like that?
No esports team that I've been a part of has ever monitored it that crazily. Like, I guess maybe if it came to like a conversation you're having with your team, whoever you're talking to about it, it's like, hey, you know, if you're doing bad, it's like, have you been practicing? Oh yeah. Too much or too little, or not enough? Like which one? Which one is it? You know. But no esports team I ever had the pleasure to work with have like kept count of your hours.
All right. So, just out of curiosity, oh, sorry, I forgot to mark a question. So just out of curiosity, is there a change in gameplay that acts as a gateway into high-level play?
Changing gameplay.
Or like change in understanding.
Right. I think walking is one of those things. A lot of people like to just dash and run and roll and jump. I think walking is one of the biggest parts of like any Smash game to a certain extent, but especially in Ultimate, because like everyone is always so focused on being so fast and in your face that if you walk, you can definitely screw up people's spacing and timings for things. I think ability to recognize patterns and habits, you know, the standard things that make top players, you know, ability to parry consistently or parrying well. Ledge trapping, once you get ledge trapping down, like understanding you should always throw your opponent off stage. I see people who get grabs and they're at the ledge and they throw people back on stage, and I'm like, what are you doing? Please stop. Throw them off stage. Oh, my character can't. Yes, they can. Throw them off stage. I think understanding those like core things about the game. Always hit your opponent off stage, you know. Ledge trap instead of edge guard all the time, you know. Camp when you have to. Be aggressive when you have to. Understand your frame data. Just all of those things combined make people go from like, you know, mid-level player to high-level player, or even high-level player to top-level player. Just focusing on those things. Not trying to do too much, you know? Just play the game. A lot of people try too hard. They try too hard to try hard. It's like, just have fun. It'll be fine.
All right. So, when you were like, Esam mentioned that, you know, you first started just like doubles was your first like that's where you started showing results. Just from what he's also said. But before that, about how long were you involved in like your local scene before you started going to majors?
So I didn't know tournaments were a thing. I would always do them with like my friends and my cousins growing up. So like I joined the scene in 2009, and I didn't know that was a thing until someone from part of the competitive scene came to a house tournament that my friend ran. I don't know how he found out about it. He's a wizard, but he did. And I beat him, and he was like, "You're pretty good. You should go to like a real tournament." And I was like, "What the heck is that?" So I started off going to events, not knowing anybody, and I was like, the events that I knew of were in Orlando, and I lived in Miami, and I was 16, and I was like, "Hey mom, you wanna drive me to Orlando?" And she was like, "Sure." I was like, "Wait, really? That was easy." So she definitely took me to Orlando like 4 or 5 times that year. And that's all I knew. All I knew was the Orlando events, and those were like big events. Like the first tournament I ever went to was like it was the Brawl days. The number might not be staggering to people nowadays, but back then it was a 150-man tournament, and I was just like, whoa, this is a lot of people. And it was my first event, and I didn't know anyone there besides like I recognized people's names from like YouTube and stuff because I would watch YouTube matches. And I was like, oh, I know that person. Kind of. I know that person too. Kind of. I've heard that person. So from the beginning, I just went to one of the biggest tournaments in Florida, and I was like, oops, I'm not ready for this. But it was fun. I got like 33rd, I got 33rd. My first tournament ever out of 150. And it was so tragic because I lost the guy that I beat at my house tournament. I was so upset. I was so that was the first moment of salt that I experienced. I was like, I beat this guy before. That means I should always beat him. Why did I lose to him? And I was like, wait. I was like, this guy actually plays this game in tournaments, so he probably just learned. I want to learn how to do that too. Like, It was so upsetting, but very enlightening. So it took me a couple months before I actually started making friends in the scene because I just didn't know events, and I would go to Orlando, and then at some point there were like some people that like taught me how to play the game and raised me, I guess. They were like, "Why don't you go to tournaments in Miami? We're from Miami." And I was like, "There's tournaments in Miami?" I had no idea. So I remember I was like, Mom, we don't have to go to Orlando anymore. And she was very happy with that, but she was always very supportive, so it was always really cool.
I just need to ask, how long is the drive from Miami to Orlando? Hold up.
4.5 to 5 hours.
I mean, mom-son road trips.
MVD is a champion. That's all I know. She's the champion.
I follow her on Twitter. She's awesome from
She's
all of her posts.
I love her.
So now to the actual question. What do you think the best way to get involved in your local scene is?
Nowadays there's so many tools for that. Facebook groups, Smash GG is really good. Twitter is not the best way to like find a scene, I guess, but it's easy if you know, like, okay, I live in Las Vegas because I live in Las Vegas, and if someone wanted to join the scene and they knew that I lived here, they simply just follow me on Twitter and then shoot me a DM or tweet at me or just try to find a way to get into the scene that way. Like, use your resources to your advantage. You have top players in almost every state, or like at least top players of that state. You can find them, you can reach out to them. I will always reach back to people. Most people won't, but I do that. Facebook has, Facebook groups. Smash GG has tournament listings. If you type in, I think, like a city, you can find tournaments in that city. There's so many ways for people to join the scene nowadays. That's how you get involved. You jump into it. And if there's no local scene in your area, build it. If you build it, they will come. Everyone likes to play Smash.
Especially if it's a university.
Yeah, do that at a university. Do that at a card shop, a game store. Like, Smash everywhere. I've played Smash in movie theaters. I've played Smash in football, soccer for Americans, stadiums in the UK. I've played Smash in a church. Like, no matter where you are, you can play Smash.
Sorry, I just gotta say this: Smash is God's game officially.
Like, there's a scene somewhere, and if you want to get into it, jump right in. It's not that scary, I promise.
Have you done anything on the administrative side, like organizing, coaching, been a part of esports work? How would you recommend someone get involved with that? I'm not going to say anything because I'm a special case. I did things really way differently than most people would, but just out of curiosity.
I mean, I used to TO a local back in Miami at my... I worked in an arcade in Miami, so I decided to run locals out of the arcade, and that happened. I run sub-tournaments for myself on my stream. I do coaching sessions for lessons. It's really just, like I said, you want to do it, just jump in and do it. If you're living in a city and you want to host a tournament, host one or show up. Use Smash GG, use Facebook groups, use Twitter to advertise. One person shares it, 10 people see it. 10 people share it, 100 people see it. People are going to see it. You just get into it. Like, the only thing holding anyone back from doing that kind of stuff is just themselves. And sometimes it's scary. But at the end of the day, we're all giant nerds playing Smash. We're not that scary. I don't care who you are. You're not that scary. Like,
I don't think anyone's scared by Smash players.
Yeah. Unless it's like, like Lade, who he's jacked and he's like an actual bodybuilder. Like, okay, sure.
Have you met Acetil yet? Him and all three of his brothers are players, and they're all ripped. They're like these big hulking dudes who show up to tournaments. Greatest guys ever, though.
Yeah, those guys, you can be scared of them, sure. Whatever.
Even though all they do is they'll play Kirby and friendlies, suck you up, and just you.
That's funny. I know someone like that in Florida too. He's also just ripped. He's a scary guy. And then he plays Kirby, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing?
And then he sucks up Steed, turns into this little cube, and then you can't be scared of him anymore because he just shows up and
True.
Kirby's Kirby.
That that's the big thing. If you want to do it, just do it. You're the only one holding yourself back.
Just don't host offline during pandemic.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah. All right. So, how do you define the different levels of play, like low, mid, high, top? I think that's where those are the main 4 classifications.
Yeah, I would say that. But yeah, low level. It's like people who are new to the game, who don't really play the game a whole lot. I like Smash. I play with my friends on the weekends, and we get drunk and play Smash. If you're, of age. Everyone has that kind of story. Or, I was at my university and I saw someone playing the game, so I sat down and played it too, because I remember playing this game for me, the N64, when I was a young child, and now it's here and it's cool. Everyone has that story. Mid-level players are people who go to tournaments and, either go anywhere from 2-2 to 4-2, depending on how big the bracket is. High-level players are obviously, the threats that you want to look out for, that they can still get upset by a mid-level player. Very rarely a low-level player. Top-level players are the cream of the crop. We're gonna take your money and beat everybody, but sometimes they have their days that they can lose to anybody, because that's just the nature of Smash, the nature of competitive environment in general. Just because you are a top player does not make you immune to mid-level players or low-level players. And same goes for every step of that ladder. Top players are just people who invest time into the game. They invest time into the game. They make it their life goal to accomplish something with the game. Esports career, streamer, that kind of stuff. But I think a lot of those things are just they are labels, but it's something that can track your growth. And I don't think it's not indicative of who someone is as a person, because a lot of people are like, I'm only a mid-level player, I don't matter. It's no, you do. What you say about the game might not matter, because you probably just don't know what you're talking about, but a lot of people tie their self-worth to how good they are at a video game, and that's just silly. We're all playing to have fun. I just happen to be better at the game than you. It's not a big deal. I would hope so. I put a lot of time into it, but
I was gonna say 2,500 plus hours. 5,000 hours is a lot.
A lot of hours.
And just because Esam, this became his full-time job, is Smash your full-time job as well?
Oh yeah, we've been solo doing esports for years at this point. Like I said, I used to work at an arcade in Miami while also doing esports stuff, just because I enjoyed working at the arcade, because it's an arcade and it was cool.
Dude,
it's chill.
Wait,
yeah,
did you get
exactly.
free games? Were you able to play games whenever and got free games, or?
Oh yeah, I had my key that I walk around, open a game, put a credit. I do whatever I want. It was great, and they were also just very understanding of hey, I do this esports thing, so if I need time off, I need to have this flexibility. And they were just very open to it, very supportive. They would watch our tournaments that we go to on the TVs in the arcade. It was great, so I stayed there because it was fun, and it just made sense. And then once we moved to Oklahoma a couple years ago, it's just straight esports.
All right, we're actually going to come back to that during some of the personal questions. That was just something I wanted to ask.
Okay.
Kind of the nice thing about getting to do these getting to do these interviews freelance with a really back sponsor is I can jump in with these fun questions.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what are some ways to ensure that a player improves at the game as quickly as possible?
I think it's just having good practice routines. I think a lot of people also focus too hard on getting good faster, when it's getting good at Smash is just getting good at anything in life. You're not gonna suddenly have the ability to knock down 3-pointers on a whim if you're playing basketball. You're not gonna hit a home run every single time in baseball. You're not gonna throw that perfect spiral every single time in football. You have to practice. You have to work at it. You're not gonna become really good at Smash overnight. It's not how it works. You have to train. You have to practice. You have to study, take notes, physically write notes down. mental notes are nice, but having something on paper or, in writing is amazing. Studying videos, being diligent, understanding that like you're gonna have bad days and not beating yourself up when you have bad days, even though you probably still will, but you shouldn't. Just things like that. People try to get good fast, and there's no substitution for hard work, and it's gonna take time, and you have to just accept that and understand that.
All right, okay. Simple rules for this question: no buffing Pikachu, and
why would I do that?
Because and no overly buffing Snake. If you were given the opportunity to balance the game, what do you think the patch notes would look like?
I would fix Snake's forward tilt, first and foremost. Anyone who knows me knows that move needs to be fixed. That move is trash. Fix Snake's forward tilt. The way I would do that is make the second hit have more activity than one frame, because it is only active for one frame, so it makes it extremely inconsistent. So I'd want that, or I think that's really it for Snake. I guess down air can like connect better, but whatever. In general, I would probably nerf Pikachu slightly, whether it be his back air, his nair, or his, I think just back air, to be honest. Back air's fine. Slightly, I would make very quality of life changes for like the broken characters of the game, my character included. I'm not just about to buff Snake and have it. I understand there's some aspects of my character that should also be toned down, like Nikita. Everyone's favorite move to hate. I don't know. I think it'd be interesting to see a top player or top players patch a game, because obviously we're gonna have our own personal bias, and that's hard to not have it. But I don't know. I think I would just make it a slightly even playing field at the top level of character pool, while probably also making some of the random degenerate mid tiers stop having that random degenerate option that I have to worry about. Like, no, we already have enough good characters. Just play a good character, please. I would probably make people not want to play bad character. I'd make them just trash and stop.
So, who would you classify in that bad character category?
Ganondorf.
Well, yeah, no shit.
I'm sorry. I know Ganon players, and I'm like, please stop. And they're like, but I'm like, no.
Were there any Ganon on the PGR?
No, God, no. Absolutely not. But there's just characters that, like Lucario, people are like, I have faith. I'm like, just play a good character. And I understand if people love a certain character or they're bad. I get it. Sure. But if you're going to be a competitive player, play a good character. I don't understand why people willingly hold themselves back. It's like, I like playing not the best characters. Why? It makes you feel better? Who cares?
Wake up to your senses, please. I played Bayo. I used to be a Bayo main, and then I woke up to my senses and started playing Peach, and then I realized my RNG was ridiculous.
Yeah, like, there's no shame in playing a good character. And just because you can't make a bad character work doesn't make you bad. It makes the character bad.
If you can make... Every Bayo player that I've ever met has gone to Peach. Just has already gone to Peach, like, because they realized how bad she was.
Peach is really good. I personally don't think Bayo's that bad, but...
Okay, let me rephrase that. Her options are bad, but at the same time, on Wi-Fi, she's great.
Oh, that's true. That's bad.
On Wi-Fi, she's fantastic, but she hurts my hands to play. But not gonna lie, Bayo side B kind of a little bit degenerate because you can literally just kill off the top. I don't know. That's just.
But yeah, I would definitely make the game, from my perspective, slightly more. I would just have less competitively viable kills. I think there's too many characters in this game, and there's too many that are good. I'm just like, I appreciate it. The balancing is fantastic. But from a competitive aspect, I'm just like, why do I have to care about Wii Fit Trainer? Why? Why is Wii Fit Trainer such a good character?
I am going to ask this. the project database is looking at a possible at a future project of talking to high level players, high and top level players, and giving them it's unrecorded interview, and giving them the ability to make their own patch notes. Would you be interested in doing something like that?
That'd be really interesting. I would definitely consider doing that.
All right, then I will talk to you about that later, because that would be really fun to do. Oh my god, that would be fantastic. And besides, now I have the staff to do it, so that would be fantastic for me to do. All right, so we are gonna go ahead and move on to the personal questions, where we learn about you as a human being. You are welcome to curse, and if you aren't comfortable answering any of these questions, again, you are welcome to step away. Oh, and no.
I know.
We don't.
Yes.
As much as we hate Nintendo's net play, don't use not kind words to. Don't use two not kind words to describe it, so I don't get a cease and desist from Nintendo.
I love Nintendo.
All right, so we had Esam answer a similar question, but we're gonna go on and get your side as well, just because, you know, woohoo things. So how did you and Esam eventually become so close? Well, and how'd you guys meet?
I don't know which tournament it was that we met at. It was one of my earlier ones, obviously. I started hanging out with the player that goes by the name Sabrick. Him, Esam, and Nick Riddle. Nick Riddle's Esam's brother, for those who don't know. They lived like a block or two from each other, and they were like the three best people in South Florida, and like all of them were like top 5 in Florida as a whole. So I played with Sabrick at my first tournament. I money matched him twice. I impressed him to the point that he did not take my money, which is strange, because why would he not take free money?
Sorry, that something happened. We're good.
And then I met Esam probably at one of my first Miami tournaments that I went to. We were friendly, you know, which didn't, you know, do much besides just like, oh, you know, talk, hey, what's up, you know? Oh, you're that snake player that David keeps talking about, Sabrick. I'm like, oh yeah, it's me. Cool. And then it was December of 2009. There was a tournament we were all going to in Orlando. By then, I had like established myself as part of the scene and like made friends and stuff. And Esam and I were friendly with each other, but we weren't like super close. And at that tournament, Esam had a doubles partner, and they had to bail last second. So he was like, oh my god, I want to do doubles with someone. Like, what should I do? And I was like, you want a team? I love doubles. Pretty good at doubles. I know you're better than me at singles, but I'm really good in doubles. He was like, you know what? Fine. You know what? Let's do it. Like, all right, cool. So we teamed and we got 5th place at our first tournament together, beating like some of the top teams in Florida. And that was like a major event. So like a lot of out-of-staters came too. And we got, I think it was 5th. And he was like, that was pretty fun. We should do that again. And I was like, I'm down. Because I was like, damn, maybe if I team with him, then he'll have to help me get better at the game. And I know he's better than me. So this is good. And I was like, but what do I bring to the table? And I was like, I'm better at doubles than him. We can teach each other. I'll teach him doubles, he'll teach me singles. Perfect. So ever since that tournament, we teamed like forever. And I would go to his house every weekend. Like he would pick me up, because we were in high school still. He would pick me up like on Fridays, like after school, and we would just go to his house and we would play all day Friday, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. My mom would pick me up on Sunday, and we lived like an hour from each other. So he would drive an hour down to pick me up, an hour back to his house. With traffic in Miami, sometimes 2 hours. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But we just made that connection. We started teaming. I started hanging out more. I would go to his house all the time. I would be at his house every single weekend, just playing Smash forever, getting my ass kicked by everyone because I still wasn't that great, but still learning. Honestly, I don't know how I kept going, because I would go to their houses and play like between 20 and 30 hours a weekend and maybe win like 5 games. Like, it was bad. I would get beat. I was just like, God, I keep doing this. I'm probably insane. But that's how we started. And it literally just that one situation where that team partner of his just couldn't show up to the tournament last second. And I was like, I shot my shot. Said, let's team. Now we're best friends, teammates of, since December 2009. So what?
A long time.
11 years and counting. It's been a long time. And we lived together for a few years,
Are you going to be going to his wedding whenever that happens?
I fucking hope so. If I wasn't, I would be shocked. No, absolutely, I'll be there. Duh, like for sure, I wouldn't miss it for anything. But yeah, that dude's my brother. I love him. We've just been super close ever since then, and it's crazy. Smash does that. Smash does that kind of stuff. We've traveled the world together. We've literally gone to so many countries together, all over the world. We've done so much together. It's a lot. It's crazy how we've been friends for 11 years, and the amount of stuff that we've done in those 11 years, I feel like is more than what best friends of lifetimes do together. We've done so much.
I can attest to that one. My mom's been friends with her best friend since first grade, and they've maybe gone to one other state.
We have all over Europe together. We've been to Dubai together. We've been to Japan together. All over the US. Rooming together in tournaments and hotel rooms together, just drives together. No matter what it is, we've been there with each other. So it's a lot of stuff.
That's awesome. So I know you mentioned that you played Marvel 3, but actually I reread the question, never mind. What are your favorite non-fighting games?
Non-fighting games. Ooh, man, I love the Kingdom Hearts franchise so much. I love Kingdom Hearts. So Kingdom Hearts is definitely up there.
Sora for Smash.
That'd be sick. I don't think it's gonna happen at this point, but that'd be sick. Let's see. I've been playing Assassin's Creed on PS5. It was super fun. But yeah, Kingdom Hearts is definitely super duper up there. I love Kingdom Hearts. I can play Kingdom Hearts forever. The Spider-Man games on PS4 and PS5, very good games. Final Fantasy VII Remake was amazing last year. I played Last of Us. I love the Last of Us series. So many games that I just enjoy. Yeah, a lot of different games. It's not just Smash for me. I'm not one of those Smash players that just play Smash.
All right. So you've gone around, you've traveled, you've met a lot of different players in different countries. What are some up-and-coming players who you're looking out for specifically, or who you think are going to be, showing up on the PGR, or who are going to be a threat to your position? Because let's be real, this year kind of threw us all off, and I'm hoping, and you play so often, so seeing you on the PGR next season, I think is going to happen.
I think so too. I think so. I honestly have not watched a lot of Smash during the pandemic because I just, for me, online doesn't matter. So I'm just whatever. Sometimes I'll watch a friend if they're competing in support and all that stuff. But people I do watch that I can speak on are Snake Player. So I think Apollo Kage is gonna pop off super hard when offline comes back. Apollo Kage is super good. He's really good. Alan Dis is another Snake player who's really good. Shiny Mark the Pikachu, he's incredible. He's really good. I want to see Bestness actually perform really well offline because he obviously has been one of the gods of net play. Mm-hmm. And he's a very good player, but he never pre-COVID had those breakout performances really. And I do think he's capable of doing that. It's not just Wi-Fi Ness, haha. Bestness is really good. Epic Gabriel, he's good. Obviously, he has his moments where he pops off offline, and online he does it a lot.
Well, he plays Rob.
He does play Rob. He's haha Rob player. I don't know. I don't watch enough to really have opinions on a lot of people. if I'm being honest. But yeah, we'll see. You know, I'm excited for when offline eventually comes back one day, just to see like if any of the Wi-Fi warriors that are excited for beating top players on Wi-Fi, if they do anything better than 1-2 at tournament.
Yeah. All right. So.
Spoilers, most of them won't.
We'll see. We'll definitely see. So in your entire time playing, whether this be offline, online, brawl moments when you started, what would your favorite Smash moment be? Oh, and that includes DLCs coming out. If you were like epically excited for one of them.
All right, when Snake got revealed for Ultimate, I literally cried for an hour. So, most people saw that reaction, and it was, oh my god, it was crazy. Cause like, Nintendo invited a bunch of us to that E3, and we were like, oh, Smash stuff. So we all went to E3, and I was like, guys, what if Snake is back? That's gonna be crazy. And then he got announced, and I popped off. I screamed. I almost broke a chair. I almost threw it, actually. I didn't throw it. I cried for an hour afterwards, genuinely sobbing. I was so happy. And then Nintendo surprised us with like, oh, you get to basically essentially play test the game for us and just sit in this room for 6 hours and play. And Snake was there, and I was like, oh my god, Snake. So Snake getting announced is probably one of my like personal like highs in the scene. Obviously getting top 8 at Evo 27.
A year.
What year was it? It was the last Smash 4 year. It was the Bayo year. I think that was 2017. That could be crazy. Or 2016. One of those. That was a really cool moment, getting top 8 at Evo. That was surreal. I got invited to a tournament in Peru, and I won over there. That was really cool. Winning doubles with ESAM in Sweden in Smash 4 years ago was amazing. Getting to go to Dubai and winning doubles with ESAM over Mars and Pug West, and then ESAM and I getting first and second in singles. Incredible experience. There's so many. There's honestly so many. Just all of the time spent with people that you've met in the Smash scene that become like your lifelong friends. Traveling together, flying across the country, across the world, driving cross country or over states, and just all those experiences are just so incredible. And the fact that they will continue to happen at some point is still just really nice. Like it's a constant flow of happiness, really. Like there's not a single moment that I can say is like the defining moment, because there's just too many different moments. Yeah, it's just the culmination of the 11 years. Everything is just so incredible and surreal, and I'm very fortunate that it's played out that way.
So how did you like originally get into Smash? Like just like through friends, or mom was like, hey, let's go to a game store, pick out any game?
So Smash 64 came out, I think I was 6. It was 5 or 6. And my cousin also played video games growing up with me. We had a Nintendo 64. I don't know why we got Smash. I don't know whose idea, but I don't remember that. But I know we got it, and I fell in love with the game. Played the game all the time with my cousin, with our friends in the neighborhood, and then that's when we started doing house tournaments as young as I was like 8 or 9. I've been competing in like our neighborhood house tournaments. You know, that whole I'm the best in my neighborhood kind of thing. That was me. I know, it's embarrassing. But yeah,
every person goes through that kind of moment, in all fairness.
Exactly. So it was really just from 64, like day one. It's a game that I played and I really enjoyed it, and I played with friends and my cousin all the time. And then Melee, same group of people. Brawl, same group of people. Branched down to the Smash scene. Here we are today. So it's really, I don't remember what triggered us getting Smash, but whatever it was, I'm happy for it.
All right. So in the 11 years that you've been playing, it'll be almost 12, at some point at some time it'll be 12 in 2 months. Then has there ever been a moment where you wanted to quit playing competitively?
Yes. And I know that's weird to say, but yes. It was never anything that was like, oh, I don't like this game, or like I suck, or anything like that. It was never anything about me or about the game. It was more so there was just a lot of points in time over the 11 years that the community itself, sometimes people go too far with things, or people are just assholes. And at the end of the day, we all are humans. And no matter how tough the exterior can be, at some point, when people give you enough shit for stuff, it does get to you. So there was a lot of times that I was like, I don't do wrong things to people. I'm not a super big jerk to people. I'm very respectful and kind. Like, why are people obviously not important people? It's like, but why are people so cruel to individuals? Like, there was just a wave of incidents that people were just like super ragging on me. I don't even remember what it was for, but it happened for like months, and I was like, bro, fuck this. Like, honestly, I'm so over it. Like, I do my best to be someone that people could like look up to or get inspired by, or someone that would potentially try to keep the community safe. And these people just have their own narratives, and I'm just like, what's the point? Like, honestly, what's the point? But obviously that didn't break me too much. It came to the point that I just realized that people are gonna have their own stories for you. Like, you're the villain in someone's story, and if that's the case, that's the case. People don't know me. If you don't know me and they talk bad about me, you don't know me. It doesn't matter. I don't care. You're just a person on the internet. Of course, you never say it to my face. No one will ever say anything to your face. So it's just one of those things that I just learned from that experience, and I was like, I'm just gonna ignore what idiots say to the best of my ability. And now I just tell them off because it's fun.
Either that or you throw the entire US Army at them.
Basically.
All right.
Everyone always wants to talk shit until you try to put money on it. Oh, you're bad. Money match for your house. Oh, I thought so.
Wait, hold up. Has that ever happened to you where you've actually been like, deed to your house, let's do it?
Oh, I've definitely, people have been shit talking me, and I genuinely, one of my favorite lines is money matching for your house. And then they're like, I
love that. I'm sorry, I absolutely love that. Well, I mean, you look at everything that happened with the stock market and GameStop, and there was this one guy who bet his parents' house on the GameStop stock, and then got like a 400% like return profit.
Incredible. But yeah, I guess there was a time that I was like, is this worth it? But it is, obviously.
I mean, you've been doing it for 11 years, almost 12, so
Yeah.
We're kind of at that point now. All right. Let's move on. Where do you see the future of competitive Super Smash Bros. Going, given Nintendo's actions in regards to the competitive scene and with everything that's happened over the last year, given all the incidences? We won't go into detail, but, all the drama, all of the issues in general.
Everyone is always like talking about what happened last summer, and everyone talks about it in like a somber or like bad attitude, I guess you could say, or bad way. I think what happened and what came out, not the things that happened, clarify that, but the stories that came out, I thought it was all good for the scene. I think that getting rid of actual toxic, bad, or harmful individuals is necessary and important for scenes to be able to purge people like that, especially if they're people that matter, which is obviously the hard part about it, and it hurts when it's people that are important and significant. But from my perspective, that just means if those people weren't safe, no one is. You know, you do something wrong, there's going to be consequences, and we want to make sure that the scene and the community is safe for everyone. We want people to be able to freely come to our community, which has been extremely open to all types of people throughout my experiences with it, no matter what your age is, or it depends. Obviously, if you're like 8 years old, it shouldn't be at tournaments, but like,
it shouldn't be at tournaments without parent supervision.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if you haven't gotten a chance to watch Bulbasaur from Arizona, his entire family plays Smash, and his little 5-year-old brother.
That's amazing.
He carries this giant GameCube controller in his hand. It's adorable.
Yeah, like, for the most part, Smash for me has always been like an all-inclusive thing. It doesn't matter who you are, what you do, obviously within limits and that kind of stuff. You're gonna be welcome. You're gonna have a home. We're the hosh posh of individuals the unique individuals that all share a common thing. And I think all of that stuff that came out was good for the community. It's hard to see that in the moment, but I think over time the scene will be bigger, stronger, safer, and overall be the same, if not more fun, for those who want to come in, because they can confidently feel that we actively try to keep our people safe, and that is all that matters. But yeah, competitive scene, I think it's gonna be fine. We're the biggest fighting game on the planet, numbers wise. You can't argue that. That's just, it is. Yeah, we may not have all the money that most other fighting games have and other esports have, but Smash scene has never been about money. We've always been grassroots. Esports is a nice thing that's happened for sure. Would it be nice if Nintendo gave us, $250,000 like Capcom does for Capcom Cup? Yes, it would. It would be nice. Is it going to happen? Probably not. So stop hoping for it. Stop expecting it. Stop demanding it. It's probably not going to happen. If it doesn't happen now, it's probably not going to happen. And if it does happen one day, we're going to be fucking fortunate. And that's it. Most of us, we're fortunate enough to be able to make a living off this game, and we don't have developer support.
Imagine what happens if we get developer support.
That's my point, though. It's like everyone's like, "Oh, Smash needs it." You go, no, we don't. We've never needed anyone but ourselves. We don't need anyone to think of us as a charity case or just to give us stuff. We've always fought tooth and nail and built the scene, literally built the scene ourselves. We don't need anyone to do anything for us. We don't. And I think that says a lot about the scene. I think that's really cool. Would it be nice to have the $250,000? Yes, obviously. I'm not saying it won't be. It wouldn't be nice. It would be amazing. But that's not happening. And I think that people need to stop thinking like it's going to happen. Because you only set yourself up for disaster and disappointment when it continues to not happen. And then you go, that game gets all that money. Okay, go play that game then. That's just the way I see it.
All right. So what would your opinion be, or what's your opinion on Nintendo's lack of involvement in the Smash competitive scene and blatant attempts to prevent its growth, both on the competitive side and, for instance, everything with Melee, emulating Melee, all of that?
I mean, I don't think that personally speaking, and from my experiences and what I know and what I've been a part of, I don't feel like Nintendo tries to hold back the competitive scene. A lot of people are going to get mad about that, obviously. But I don't see that. They're getting hard on people with Melee, Netplay, Slippy, that kind of stuff, emulation. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a big gaming company. I don't know the logistics and the legalities behind all that stuff. So I'm just not informed enough or educated enough to make opinions on that. But if Nintendo doesn't want people to play Slippy, there's obviously must be a reason. And I don't know what it is. So I can't just, pretend that it's okay or it's wrong. as far as I'm concerned, they've only had issues with the emulation, making it net playable, So sure, people can say that that's Nintendo preventing the competitive Melee scene from growing, but I don't see it that way. It's not. Melee in its natural state doesn't have net play, so I don't know. A lot of rebuttals are like, oh, well, other companies don't mind if people mod their games, and I'm like, okay, well, that's other companies.
That's not Nintendo.
They're not like that, and is it unfortunate? Sure. Would I like it if they just didn't care? Sure, but I'm sure they have their reasons for why they care. They haven't shut down any Ultimate online events because Ultimate has online.
And I don't think they've shut down any like major Slippy events. I think Big House was the only one, and that was because they were trying to profit off of it.
And that was it. It was just Big House, and Big House didn't have to, from my understanding, didn't have to cancel Ultimate, but they still did. I could be wrong, but
I believe they did. So
had to? I don't think they had to.
I don't think they had to, but I think they did it just because they were getting rid of Melee too. Because Nintendo was like, no.
Right, but that's my point. Like, Nintendo said no to the Melee side of it. Why cancel the whole thing? Like that's my perspective, obviously, as an Ultimate player. Like, why would you get rid of our event because the Melee side couldn't happen? Again, I don't have the answers. I don't know everything. I don't know what happens behind closed doors. But obviously, for me, if Nintendo has a problem with something, whether it be, emulation or hacking or whatever it is, from a legal standpoint, again, I'm not a lawyer, but it is their game. They can say no. And just because they do doesn't make them bad. It might be disappointing, but that's just the way I see it,
All right, so this is, pandemic, all that. We're back, back to this. How do you think COVID is going to affect future tournaments?
I don't know. That's a tough one because I've always thought that like events now or in the future when they come back, there's going to be a lot of safety protocols. I hope that are going to manifest because of pandemic stuff. I don't know what they're going to be, whether it be I don't know. I really don't know. It's actually really hard to think about because like I'm happy I don't have to think about that. I'm just a player. I don't gotta worry about hosting a thing. But I don't know.
Well, not just from the safety side. I mean, I'm also looking at like players, like they've been spending all this time at home. They've been playing online for almost a year now. We have, whereas Japan, they had an extra 3 months to practice because.
Oh, Japan's gonna shit on us. They're gonna absolutely destroy us, and we know that. Like, we're gonna have to catch up. I don't know. I think most players will be fine. Like, at least the top players. It's like, we just know the game so much. Like, things aren't gonna be super, super different from gameplay wise. Like, it'll take us a bit to unrust, probably. Thankfully for me, I play offline every now and then pretty frequently, so I have not been super duper rusty due to the pandemic. But others have. Others have just not been able to play the game at all. And we'll see where people line up and where they are, because I think it's going to be exciting. But I also think the first 3 to 6 months of offline is going to be one of those crazy shit's going to happen. Like, we're not going to pay too close attention to it, I feel. But we'll see.
We would like to advocate for mask wearing here when offline comes back, just to be on the safe side. Only thing I advocate for. I like to put that in all of my interviews, just because we want to be safe. We want offline to come back, so be a responsible human being, and when offline comes back, be responsible. Yay! Moving on. So, where would you be today without Smash? Specifically, if you weren't able to continue with it being, your full-time job or full-time, just full-time everything. What would you have fallen back on?
Well, now that esports is a thing, now it's like getting a job in esports. I feel is super simple for someone like me who's been around it for so long, and for someone who's learned so much about the trade of esports, essentially. But I would definitely. I've always been into like business and stuff like that. So like something in like a banking or accounting job, something like that. I was always focused on that early on in my life and college and stuff like that. But I don't know. There's this esports has given me such a wide variety of like an umbrella of just like skills. It's not just about playing the game. It's like you've learned so much about marketing because you have to market yourself and how to like just overall professionalism because you have to have some form of professionalism in anything, but it's esports specifically because you meet so many people and do so many things. You know, I do coaching and lessons. I used to tutor kids in like school for like math and science and stuff like that. So I have a lot to fall back on, you know, tutoring people in management. Like I could see myself being like an esports coach or like a manager for a team even because like I've just been around it for so long and learned so much about the what's it called, the field and the industry. So like I don't know, I think there's a lot of fallback options if playing Smash full time and streaming wasn't a thing, but also just streaming. Like I could just stream whatever I want, and that would be cool too. So there's so much for all of us, and myself included, to just fall back on if we ever needed to. What exactly would it be? I don't know, because there's like Smash, there's too many options.
Do you have a degree by chance, or did you ever go to college for marketing, accounting, anything like that?
I studied business administration and international business.
All right. Sorry, I always like to ask. I asked the ESAM, and apparently he has a degree in genetics.
Yeah.
Which is cool as well.
Yeah, I mean because we were lucky because for us like the esports boom didn't come until like after college. Lucky us. And we always been an advocate for like telling people to like, you know, stay in school, do your studies. Like that's really important. We did it. You have to do it too.
Yeah, I'm sitting here trying to handle the database plus all of this plus I'm taking like 8 classes right now.
8? Stop.
Make me.
I'm not trying to. It's just a humble recommendation.
You know what though? I saw the Panda Global. I'm applying to Panda Global this weekend because you know that's cool. But they were hiring for a SolidWorks professional. I'm certified in SolidWorks, and low key, that sounds really fun.
That's cool.
It'd be really cool. It would be really cool to design merch for them. You're right. There are so many careers you could go into. Oh my god.
Yeah. That's the magic of esports. That's what I'm saying. We have too much to fall back on. There's so much that we can do.
If you want to get involved, I need people for my staff, and my database has a little bit of everything. And I love advertising my database. It has become my pride and joy. All right, so we've seen a bunch of characters come into Smash Bros. From so many different franchises. Oh my god, there is one from everywhere, I swear. So you got your dream character. You got Snake. Who else would you like to see? Oh dear.
Anybody watching this knows why I sighed. My number one most wanted character in the history of anything is Gino.
But he's already been deconfirmed.
No, it's not true.
Yes.
No, it's not true. Their Crom is a Mii sword fighter costume. King K. Rool is a hat. Gino is a disgusting Mii gunner. I don't like Mii's, I want Gino more than anything. I know I'm probably not going to get it, but there's still 3 slots left and you never know.
And for all we know, they may continue to do fighters passes and may include
I think that's very possible. Sakurai said Brawl was the last Smash game. He said Fighter Pass 2 was the last fighter. He's lied before. He can lie again.
Oops.
Sora obviously is also very up there on the list of characters that I want.
Seeing a Kingdom Hearts character in this game, I feel like would be a really interesting dynamic.
We already have two. We have Cloud and Sephiroth. What do you mean?
No. I mean like seeing the dynamics with the key specifically.
Yeah, I think Sora would be super cool.
If I remember correctly, in the Kingdom Hearts games, I haven't played personally. I've watched videos just because, I love story modes, but I can't, like, my hands, I can't play them for too long, so I'm like, might as well just watch Let's Plays instead.
Right.
If I remember correctly, he switches keys a lot throughout the game. Do you think if Sora were to be put in Smash, do you think he would have kind of a similar dynamic like Min, where she can change out her
arms?
Yeah.
Well, Kingdom Hearts 3, you were able to have 3 Keyblades equipped to you and then cycle through them. So that would be cool. But I don't know like which ones they would choose, whether it just be like the iconic ones. Honestly, I think that they would just have a different Keyblade for every costume. I think that'd be a cool way to do it. But yeah, that'd be interesting. He'd be a very interesting character. I'm not sure how I would design
it. It would definitely be interesting. Do you have any? But realistically, who do you think is going to be? Who do you think could be in the next 3 fighter passes? Because we were all surprised by Joker. We were all definitely surprised by Banjo, and don't even get me started about Byleth.
The only Fire Emblem character that I think is cool is Byleth.
Well, Byleth is cool. Don't get me wrong. I love Byleth, but it's another Fire Emblem.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Fire Emblem, so I'm on that ship, but it's fine. Honestly, I think another Pokemon is going to come at some point. I'm not saying I want another Pokemon unless it's Sceptile, because that's my favorite Pokemon. I think a Pokemon is a safe bet. Odyssey, though, who knows? At this point, like, this Fighter's Pass has been crazy. Like, Min, I thought that was super hype. I didn't really play ARMS, but she's super cool. I like her a lot. She's broken, but that's not the point. I think Steve is an incredible addition. I think he's also a very fun character. Sephiroth blew everyone's mind if they were over the age of 14, because they know who he is.
I had no idea. I still couldn't believe it.
That's crazy. How did you not know Sephiroth? Did you not play Final Fantasy growing up?
I'm gonna be 100% with you. My parents didn't let me play games like Final Fantasy because they believe in culture. So they made me play all of the original all of the original Legend of Zelda games. I've played every single Mario game. And like the first fighting game I ever played was Street Fighter 3. Street Fighter 3, I think Third Strike, on the original arcade box. And I would play that for hours. That's why my hands are so bad, is because one quarter would last me 2 hours, and I was just this little like 10-year-old girl beating everybody in the comic book shop while my stepdad was playing Magic.
That's
like, so like I had no idea who he was, and I'm watching the Game Awards, and then I get a call from my boyfriend, and he's like, "Oh my god!" And I literally had to move my phone because he was screaming so loud.
Oh yeah, no, Sephiroth is incredible. Like. I was just like, whoa, that's crazy. That's actually crazy. Also hurts Sora's chance or Geno's chance from getting in the game, but you know what?
Do you think they're gonna add another villain?
That's possible. Like, maybe. I feel like they've reached the peak villain. Like, they don't need any more, to be honest. Like, Sephiroth is that guy. He's that dude. Everyone hates him and everyone loves him.
Fair enough. All right. So, what are your end goals for Smash in the competitive, like as a competitive player?
I mean, the standard: be the best that I can be and be number 1 in the world, and that sounds super cool, obviously. But really, it's just continue to love what I'm doing and have fun with it. Like, the second I stop loving it or stop having fun is the day that I stop. So, it's really for me just. Keep doing what you're doing, because I'm doing it well and I'm enjoying myself, and I make a lot of lifelong friends and connections around the world, and I've been able to do so much from a silly little game like Smash. So really, it's just first 11 years or almost 12 was incredible. Let's do that again. Let's just keep it up. Really, there's no hard pressed like end game goal that I want for Smash. It's just keep playing it, keep loving it, keep having fun. That's it.
How do you think Smash has changed your perspective on your life?
Oh man, I've learned so much through Smash. Like I said, I started playing competitively when I was 16. So still, on the younger side, still in high school. Still not knowing what I wanted to do with my life. Still not knowing anything about life. And that's why I said that I grew up with it, because like it's been almost 12 years now, and it's a long time. Basically, all of my adult life has been around the Smash scene. It definitely just makes me appreciate everything that I have, because it was a thing that wasn't even on my radar. That wasn't even a possibility. Like everyone when they're young is like, I want to play video games for a living, but like that wasn't a thing, unless you're designing games or you're a playtester, but that wasn't a thing. And then it just happened to fall into our laps, and it's just like, whoa, how do we deal with this? What do we do with this? How do we make it grow? How do we expand it? Definitely just has taught so many life skills, and I've just met so many people that have had giant impacts on my life. It's just crazy. It literally has taught me so much about being an adult, about being responsible, about about life. Like I said, what could be better than playing a game you love with your best friend, traveling the world together? What beats that? I don't know what beats that.
It sounds like Pokemon.
Honestly,
real.
we turned 10 and suddenly we're on our own.
Well, I mean, you guys weren't capturing little tiny animals to,
We were controlling them. It's just Smash has given us so much, given me so much, and it's just like it's just crazy, and that's a big reason why I want people to join the scene, because like everything that it's done for me and that I've been able to experience through it, I just want people to have a taste of that, experience that, experience a crowd rooting against you, even though you think it's the worst thing ever. It feels good, ironically. Maybe I'm just weird. People cheering your name, or when you clutch a game out, when you pop off, people screaming your name, people wanting to meet you and get a picture with you or sign an autograph, or just want to play games with you, just want to talk with you, just want to pick your brain, just like all of that stuff. I hope everyone can at least experience some part of that, because it's just all such good feelings, and it's like, wow, people really do recognize like your hard work and what you put into it. And you can't say that about everywhere. How many times have you heard people that have been at a job for 20 years and they feel underappreciated? It happens all the time. Everyone's underappreciated. But I feel like in the Smash scene, yeah, you have people that don't like you. Yeah, you have people who don't support you. But you probably will have someone that supports you. And that's always going to feel good. And everyone deserves their chance to get that,
Well, speaking of support, would you say that you've had good support throughout your career, especially when you started? Because I was told when I started playing games, video games are the devil. Oh, they're going to ruin your life. I have known several people who have gone through that same experience as well. So, how would you say your parents, your family in general? How was the support when you started doing this?
Incredible. Like I said, my mom drove me 4.5, 5 hours to go to tournaments so I could not win them. Like, she definitely is a trooper. My mom, my grandmother, my cousins, everyone, they've always been extremely supportive. It was always like oh, you want to play these video games? You gotta finish your homework first. You gotta okay, yeah, okay, mom. But like, it was never like, oh, you're doing this too much, or you're not focusing on other things, or oh, you're not doing this, because my mom and my grandmother always they raised me with that, like, okay, you can have playtime, but you also have to have work time. I somehow managed to fuse the two of them. But it was always just like finish what you have to do, and then you can do what you want. And if it's something you love, my family has always supported me. having my mom and grandmother always from day one be super supportive of it has been a godsend, and I know that. And I'm very fortunate to have that, because I know people who don't have that. That's why I'm always happy when I see, like, Kirby Kid and his dad, he goes by Kirby Dad. He, goes into it. Samsora with his mom. Shattuck.
Yeah,
Shattuck with Daddick, or Dark Shad and Grand Shad. Like, you see all these things. MVD and Mom VD, like all that stuff. Like, that dynamic to me is incredible. And I see it a lot with younger kids nowadays, and people who are playing the game and their moms and dads or whatever are supporting them and actually, give a damn, like study the game that their kid is playing and try to understand it. Because my mom did all of that, and I'm super fortunate and blessed for that. And it's heartwarming when I see families at Smash events, and I'm just like, damn, that's crazy. Families are coming together to do this thing because their kid wants to, and that's just a beautiful thing. So I've always had a really good support system, whether it be my family, my friends, people I've met in the scene, any team that I've had the pleasure of working with, Panda Global, World's Best, now Thunder. I've always had a very good support system, whether it be by other players, family, team owners, or managers, whatever it may be. I'm very lucky to have the support that I've had.
That's absolutely wonderful. What advice do you have for those who want, for those high level or mid level players who are working to go pro?
Just don't give up. Just do what you do. You're gonna have bad days. We all do. Some days you're gonna feel like you're terrible. Some days you're gonna feel like you're godlike. That's just the way it is. But just don't give up, and don't put all your eggs in one basket. Obviously, that's a big thing. Not even just for gaming, but for anything. Focus on, Mom VD's lesson. Do what you have to do, and then you can do what you want to do. You have to figure out what you need to do, what is actually important, before you put all your time and investment into some specific thing. But just don't give up. That's the biggest thing. Don't give up on yourself. If it's your dream it, live it. If I did it, you could do it. Who was I? I was some dude who played Snake and I was bad. Now I'm not. I don't know. It's just one of those things that you have to bet on yourself and study hard, work hard, be smart about it. Like I said, if I can do it, you can do it. That's all I'm saying.
All right, and then last question, and then I actually have some questions for you off recording pertaining to Project Database. So what do you think has been preventing you from reaching top 10 in the world?
I suck. Basically. No, I just think it's just hard. Like, people think it's easy. It's definitely not. Like, when you have thousands and thousands of people all gunning for the same thing, some of those people are just going to be better than you. That's just how it is. Some people are going to be better at you in general. Some people might just have a better matchup against you. Some people might just know how to fight your character. There's so many little things. At the end of the day, it's my responsibility to keep up with all that stuff. So it is just on me. I don't think it's anything mentally or anything like that. It's just I'm very positive and very, studious, and I do my thing. But just because I work hard doesn't mean the people above me aren't also working hard or harder. It's just a thing. Like, some of bracket stuff has to do with luck too. Sometimes you get unlucky brackets, and that hurts your PGR placements. Hell, season 1 of PGR, I almost exclusively lost to DeBuzz, Mars, and Cosmos. Those were, I think, with those 3 players, I was a combined 0-24 against all 3 of them season 1, and they were literally 98% of my losses that entire season, and that held me back because I just couldn't get those big wins because I was always running into those roadblocks. And good shit to them for kicking my ass every single time. Like, they got it. They're better than me in the moment, in the day, overall, whatever it may be. It's just, I don't know. Like, it really is just hard. And that's all it boils down to it. That's my goal, obviously, be top 10. Everyone wants the same goal or has that goal in mind. I think it's very possible that I can do it. I know I can. But like I said, I'm not the only one gunning for it. Everyone is.
All right. Well, that concludes the interview questions. I'm just going to do my outro and then I'm going to talk to you afterwards. Okay. Thank you so much for coming and being willing to do this.
Of course.
It means a lot. And yeah, please check out Project Database, where on the interview page for the database, MVD. So this interview will be posted edited. In Scrub City, there will be a premiere this weekend of the unedited because sponsoring server. I gotta give special privileges for that one. And the transcript and the questions that were asked, or at least the main ones, will be linked as well. Thank you so much, everyone, and we are good to stop recording, streamers.
Bye, everyone.